I firmly believe that when it comes to treating the body, whether it be preparing the body for a surgical procedure or preparing the body to heal more rapidly from a chiropractic care or from a particular injury, there are so many things that we can do every day to accelerate that process.
Remove interference from the body and it could heal itself.
Every time I take something, my first thought is this going to help me improve healing and build more health and prevent illness, or is it going to harm me?
The foundation of our health is really the digestive tract. It's gut health.
If we don't get the gut in an optimal shape first,
Right.
we are always going to be swimming against the current.
And I think everyone should do GI testing because otherwise you're guessing.
Yeah.
You can rotate through different probiotics and try to create diversity, but you don't really know unless you test. The weight of a dime on a nerve can cause symptoms, can cause pain, and that is so light. So, yeah, eating sugar, that little bit of weight, the size of a dime, can cause tremendous pain. We have to take those breaks to connect with the sun and nature and give our nervous system a chance.
You were clearly in a lot of pain when you came.
Oh, it was I was
Yeah.
scared. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
And we were talking about, long term, what can we do to prevent this? What are the steps that can be taken so that this does not turn into a bigger problem?
I just felt a tiny little twinge, and I thought, no big deal. I didn't even really think anything of it. It was maybe 2 days later that tremendous pain kicked in, and I realized that I had hurt a disc. It's gone now that I do decompression.
Dr. Tracy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Dr. Noel. I'm very happy to be here. Excited to talk with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it means a lot to me that you're willing to share your story, to talk about your experiences. You're a chiropractor,
That's right.
and you're recognized for a lot of the work you've done in functional medicine. And also you have an experience that you're going to share with us with the spinal decompression.
Right.
And I believe it's your husband that's been promoting the pulse machine and PMF therapy and has completely changed my life with PMF. So, but we're here to talk about you, and it's hard for me not to mention PMF in any conversation I have.
Right.
So we could talk about that too.
Yes.
But can you tell us and the audience a little bit more about your career, your expertise in the field of chiropractic and healthcare and functional medicine or functional nutrition, and how that all comes together?
Sure. I think I have an interesting blend of experience. I started out, my undergrad degree is in economics and finance. So I had another career as a consultant for a human resource consulting firm. And I did that for about 8 years. But while I was working in the corporate world, I had migraine headaches that were debilitating. And I also had low back pain that could just stop me in my tracks where I almost fell down in pain. But that seemed minor to the migraine headaches. So that was brewing. Let's see, let me back up and even go from the beginning. That was brewing, but also I want to share growing up. I saw a lot of spinal problems in my family. My mom had spinal surgery early. My aunt has spinal problems. My grandmom had autoimmune disease. So I saw all of these challenges in my family. I started to develop my own challenges in my 20s. I had the fortune of moving from the Northeast, from New Jersey to Atlanta. And one day in the coffee station at work, someone referred me to her chiropractor. Her name was Nancy Wells, working at Hewitt Associates. So she told me about her chiropractor. I didn't even know what that was. I had to look up, what is a chiropractor? What do they do? But I was so desperate for help. I had gone the whole medical route. I went to a neurologist who was a specialist in migraines, did the testing, got the final diagnosis. And what he said to me, I'm just, waiting for this appointment, waiting to find out what the answer is for my headaches. He touched my shoulder and told me, sometimes young women just need to learn to live with them. And that was the
Wow.
answer after I saw the specialist. So when Nancy told me about her chiropractor, I thought, well, I don't have any other solution. Yeah, I'm going to go. And so that was my introduction. And after one adjustment, I never had a migraine headache again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So for
amazing.
me, that was a structural issue. And then it was Dr. Ruth Gordon here in this area who over time also resolved my low back.
Mm.
So she helped me so much, she inspired me to go to chiropractic school. So I completely did a 180 in my career and went from business to chiropractic school. So that was my main inspiration. I wanted to help other people the way I had been helped. In the beginning of chiropractic school, I had my nutrition class with Dr. Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still having other issues. Sinusitis was something I had that would turn into bronchitis. So I decided to become Dr. Goldberg's patient. And Dr. Goldberg radically changed what I was doing, rested my digestive tract, totally changed my diet. But he resolved the chronic issues I had with sinusitis and bronchitis. So that's how I learned the power of nutrition and what you eat. Of course, the chiropractic education built upon that. I also studied with Dr. Brimhall, and he taught 6 steps to wellness. So that's really about putting all the pieces of the health puzzle together. And of course, structure is a big piece of that. But he talked about, all nutrition, supplements, lifestyle. And then later, after graduating from chiropractic school, I was blessed to work in various practices. I was working in an integrated medical practice here in Roswell with a Dr. Bergeron. And I felt compelled to learn functional medicine. I saw patients with a lot of complex issues, and I felt like we really needed to thoroughly get to root cause and how to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. So I didn't intentionally switch from chiropractic to functional medicine, but that's what happened for a while. So that was a wonderful experience studying functional medicine and helping people that way. And then fast forward today, now I work for SFI Health, which is a global nutrition company. They're family owned. They're headquartered in Australia. Most practitioners know them by Claire Labs. SFI Health bought Claire Labs just a few years back, and just recently changed the label where Claire Labs fell under the SFI Health label. So now I get to meet with doctors and help them with nutritional strategies for their patients.
That's amazing. Well, I got lots of questions.
Okay.
After
That was a
listening to you.
long story.
It was amazing. Because one of the reasons why I asked you to come here is because you came to me not that long ago with severe low back pain.
Yes.
And your problem resolved like lightning fast. We did some spinal decompression, and you told me that you have many family members who have struggled with back pain for a long time and have had, it can be debilitating. It can change the way you live life.
Absolutely.
Completely. And what was amazing about your story is you were clearly in a lot of pain when you came.
Oh, it was I was
Yeah.
scared. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
And we were talking about, long term, what can we do to prevent this, and not only to make it better now, but what are the steps that can be taken so that this does not turn into a bigger problem and a more debilitating situation chronically. And I personally think about that every day, all the time, because I really want to preserve as much function as I can, because we see daily what it's like, to lose it. We're as doctors, we're aware of how blessed we are when we have good function. And so what's amazing, what I really want to focus on today is that you did spinal decompression. You got a in-home decompression bench for home. You've got PMF therapy at home, thanks to your
Oh,
husband.
I am so blessed to have it.
I have it here, thanks to your husband
Yeah.
as well. And I mean, it's truly a life changer. But these are all different tools that have different purposes. And that's how I do spinal decompression at the office and at home, is I usually blend the decompression with something else, with other things. It doesn't replace a chiropractic adjustment.
Right.
It doesn't replace other important steps to take, like strengthening, stabilizing the spine. It doesn't replace devices like PEMF therapy or other stim devices that can help, or vibration that can help dampen pain and stimulate a healing response in different ways. So there's a lot of different options that can be used in conjunction together. And so what was amazing about your story is that you did decompression one time and your pain went away, and it was pretty severe, but it went away and it didn't come back.
Right.
And the reason why I invited you to come here is because I firmly believe that when it comes to treating the body, whether it be preparing the body for a surgical procedure or preparing the body to heal more rapidly from a chiropractic care or from a particular injury, there are so many things that we can do every day to accelerate that process. It doesn't mean that standalone, they're going to fix the problem.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they're not important. They're actually critical. And since you responded so quickly, I'd like for you to share with us some of the things that you do every day that help facilitate your response. And not only did you get better quickly, but you stayed better.
Yeah.
So if you could share with us some of the things that you take, and I don't know if some of those are maybe products that you would recommend, because this is your field of expertise. I'd like for the audience to hear, what would you recommend nutritionally or supplement-wise? What are the things that you think can have the greatest impact on accelerating recovery?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that Pete referred me to come in at that moment that I was in so much pain, because our conversation, our consult was so incredibly helpful. You listened to my current issue, but you also listened to my family history and said, if I were you, I would consider the decompression, and not only doing that now while you're hurt, but doing that at home and having that as a tool, like for the rest of your life. Like, this is what I would do. So I was so thankful. So I said, okay. And I brought that decompression home. So I'm so thankful for that. And also, I was so excited to learn that I bounced back quickly, more quickly than most patients. So to me, that was confirmation that the things that I do at home, the things that I do to take care of myself, are working and helping, because prevention isn't something that you feel. Like, you don't really know what you're preventing. But just from your experience and what you see with patients, that meant a lot to me to hear, wow, you did bounce back quickly. So now here I am to share. Like you said, living with Pete, who works with the PEMF technology, I have access to that. And I was doing the PEMF therapy. I'll back up a moment and tell you what dumb thing I did to hurt my back. We were doing a renovation and we had to move furniture. And I didn't intend to move this piece of furniture. I just wanted to see how heavy it might be. And I was in a bad position. And it's shocking how easy you can hurt yourself. As I just went to test the weight of it, I just felt a tiny little twinge. And I thought, no big deal. I didn't even really think anything of it, because it was maybe 2 days later that tremendous pain kicked in. And I realized that I had hurt a disc, a thoracic disc. And it was really maybe one of the most excruciating pains I've had, because that thoracic pain locks up your entire abdominal cavity, your rib muscles, all the muscles inside that cavity. You feel this pressure like you're having a heart attack. It's just the most uncomfortable thing. And so I came in to get your advice because I was scared. I had never been in that kind of pain. But one thing that you mentioned too is prevention. I didn't hurt myself in that split second trying to lift something. I know from chiropractic school when we did x-rays, and I'm, in my early 20s, I had thoracic arthritis. And I didn't have it in my neck, and I didn't have it in my low back, which is very odd. Usually everybody has it in their low back.
So you had it in your 20s.
I knew it in my 20s that I had that thoracic arthritis. So I have problems there that have been brewing for years. So you don't hurt yourself in that one moment that you go to lift something. Something's been wrong for a while, which is why chiropractic care as a foundation is so important. Because having that alignment, having things moving properly, that's what's going to keep your joints healthy. So that's number one for prevention. And we're both chiropractors, so we know how important that strong structural foundation is for your function. And not only your joints, but all the nerves that have to come out of those joints and operate the whole body and our organs. So chiropractic as the foundation. And that's something that I keep up with. And, that a chiropractor, of course, has to go to the chiropractor. So that's vitally important. And then trying to live what we would call a chiropractic lifestyle. Or I think you have the certain pillars of health, where maybe we divide the pillars different ways. But I think we're talking about putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. So we talked about diet a little bit, and I try to eat real food. That's number one. And yes, I take supplements, and I take supplements from pharmaceutical grade, physician recommended brands, because they have the best quality. And I do want to touch on quality, because the last thing that I'd like to see people do is order from Amazon. Amazon has everything under the sun, and you could get it tomorrow, but they really don't ensure quality. They don't ensure quality of supplements. So you want to know the company that you're ordering from. You want to know that it's great quality. And also, when you work with a doctor and get a specific recommendation, that's when you're going to get the best results. So that's why I love working with the doctors and sharing strategies and teaching about strategies, because they're going to help the patients get the best results with those supplements.
So when you say that Amazon, when you order products on Amazon and they're brands that you recognize, are you saying that if you find a brand that you know is a good brand, you just don't know how it's been handled potentially? Are there concerns about that when it's sold through?
Well, one thing, I think a lot of people don't know who they're buying from on Amazon. When you put something in your cart, you can see the store that it's coming from. And that's really important, because you may find a brand being sold by 5, 6, 7 different people or stores on Amazon, but they may not be legitimate. They may be unauthorized resellers of that brand. And then to your point, we don't know how they stored those supplements. Are they reselling fish oil and they kept it in a hot warehouse? Because they're concerned about their profits, not necessarily, and they may not even know how to store and ship supplements properly. So that's one issue, how it's handled. And sometimes there's even counterfeit. So a doctor shared a story with me that she recommended, and in this situation it was a Metagenics product, but it was vitamin D, and the patient's labs did not improve. And the doctor asked the patient, "Are you taking what I recommended?" "Yes, I am." "Oh, where did you get it?" "Amazon." And the doctor thought to ask, "What was the color of that gel cap?" And it was a totally different color.
Oh, wow.
So the doctor said, "That's not what you're not taking what you think you're taking. Please don't order that from Amazon anymore." So you have to worry about counterfeit as well. So that's why it's best if you follow a doctor's recommendation, then you're going to know that's the priority for you, the right product, the right dose, and that is coming right from the manufacturer to the doctor, or if it's ordered online, right from the manufacturer is best.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. It's, I think, something most people don't know.
So, and I just resonate with a lot of what you shared, because I live my life that way too. You know, every time I take something, my first thought is this going to help me improve healing and build more health and prevent illness, or is it going to harm me? And that's what really, I mean, I was attracted to nutrition first, because even as a child, I could recognize that depending on what we put in our body, it can have different effects. I just didn't know what, you know, I didn't know what was helpful and what was not. I mean, I could go through a box of candy in like 5 minutes, as most kids can, you know, and not think twice about it. But eventually I started really caring about that. And I also got a degree, I got into nutrition. But that was just a starting point for me. And I want to give you the chance to talk about the products that you recommend and the diet that you recommend. But why do you think, and I have my own ideas, but why do you think that chiropractors as a profession, people who get into chiropractic, you know, they in general, they are very concerned about how the body works, about not only resolving problems, but preventing them. And there's chiropractors that do so many different things, right? We're far beyond the spine, although I don't want to minimize that, because it's very powerful. But there's like yourself, you know, there's chiropractors who specialize in functional nutrition. I specialize in neurology. And then there's all these different specialties, which I love, and I think it's fascinating. But it's the chiropractic field that is driving that I guess that you could say that ship that is getting into functional change, that is really focused on function and restoring function versus looking at symptoms and trying to patch them. Do you have an idea or opinion as to why it is that this is happening through the chiropractic field? I'd just like to just get your take on it, because I think it's fascinating, because, you know, we have chiropractors who are doing amazing things that you think, wow, this is incredible what they're doing.
Right.
But it's not at all chiropractic. It's connected to what drew them to chiropractic, but it's very complementary and it's very necessary. But there's something within the field of chiropractic that is, you know, you have just a profession filled with professionals who are determined to make a big change in people's health, and in different ways, and in complementary ways. So I'd just like to hear your take on it.
Yeah. Well, in chiropractic school, we were always taught, remove interference from the body and it could heal itself. So in chiropractic, that's removing irritation in the nervous system so the body can heal itself. And so we have that mindset of we're looking for a root cause and we just want to facilitate healing. And with that mindset, I think that leads chiropractors to explore other ways to support the body. Like you said, if chiropractic's the foundation, what else can we do to complement that and facilitate healing? And so that's even within chiropractic, it's interesting how I don't know if there's 200 or 300 different chiropractic techniques. So even within that practice, there's tremendous diversity. And then I see the same, that it's the chiropractor leading the way in holistic healing and how to restore function. So I think it comes from that chiropractic education. Remove interference, and the body has this amazing ability to heal itself. So how do we support that?
Yeah, that's great. and we're made as humans to be creative. We're not meant to be kept in a box. And when something's not working, it's important that we look for what else can we do to remove that interference. And that is absolutely amazing. You touched on the body's designed to heal itself. That's something that we can't recreate, right? That is far beyond our understanding. It's incredible. And so what we're trying to do, and you said it so well, is we're looking for how can we remove interference. And so let's go back to you and that original question of what are some of the things that you do to remove interference, interference to healing, promote optimal healing. What can you share with us that we can learn? Because there's an ocean of supplements out there. There's a million things we can take.
Yeah.
And are there some that you feel like these are critical, they're foundational, they're really important? They're the ones that Dr. Tracy would take daily and not give those up.
Yeah. Well, and this may surprise a lot of people. I had a structural issue. There's arthritis in my family, so a lot of pain, inflammation in my family. And you might think I take a lot of joint support every day, and I don't. The foundation of our health is really the digestive tract. It's gut health. And when we have poor gut health, and we may not even realize we have poor gut health, but due to the diet in the U.S., stress that we're under, we're all experiencing a damaged GI lining. And that damage that we typically don't even feel leads to chronic inflammation every single day. And that chronic inflammation is going to irritate the nervous system and deteriorate the joints. So my biggest focus is on the GI tract. Today we understand that we have so many more
bacteria.
The microbiome is so diverse, and today we realize that diversity is the most important thing. That, yes, we have all this friendly bacteria in the digestive tract, but that friendly bacteria has really important jobs. And one of the jobs is keeping that barrier, that digestive lining, intact so that the things that we're ingesting and the foods that we're eating aren't leaking through that GI barrier right into the bloodstream, because that just activates the immune system and causes low-grade systemic inflammation. And inflammation is behind every single health challenge that people suffer from in the U.S. So that's the root cause, getting to what's going on in the digestive tract.
Yeah, I'm so glad you bring that up. And it's interesting because I wasn't even thinking that when I asked that question, that you would have that answer. But I couldn't agree more. We have a microbiologist in-house here because we've made that recognition that if we don't get the gut in an optimal shape first,
right,
we are always going to be swimming against the current.
Right.
And I use that analogy a lot. So it's vital in that taking the right. And this is, I guess, where some people struggle is they're basing how they feel based on, is this the
Right.
right thing for me, right? So if you take the right probiotics,
Mm-hmm.
it can have a greater impact on inflammation in your body than taking curcumin or taking other things that we
Right.
associate with reducing inflammation.
Right.
We do associate those reducing inflammation, but they may not be the cause for that inflammation.
Right.
It may not be a deficiency in curcumin as the reason why we have inflammation. The more likely cause is really likely to come from your gut.
Mm-hmm.
But if one particular probiotic may do amazing for one person, the next person may not necessarily need that exact same one.
Right.
And so one probiotic is not the best probiotic for everybody. And that's a
Absolutely.
conversation that we've had before. I remember with Melody, our in-house specialist, and she is phenomenal at testing and finding out what is the best sequence, for this particular patient. And is that sequence likely to change over time?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, at different times, there's different recommendations. But ultimately, every day, that probiotic is one of the best things, if it's the right one for you, the best things you can do to bring that inflammation down. And I
Mm-hmm.
purposely had my gut tested because I wanted to know I'm prone to inflammation. I'm doing great, but I'm prone to it. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know what are some things that I can do to help even more prevent problems. So, in addition to your gut, are there other things that you would recommend as well that you
Mm-hmm.
think are really important foundational considerations?
Yeah, absolutely. So gut is very important. The foundational supplements that most people need, I would say a really well-rounded multiple vitamin mineral to counteract some deficiencies that we may have in our diet, sort of an
Mhm.
insurance policy against deficiencies.
Mm.
Omegas are wonderfully anti-inflammatory, and every system in your body is supported by omegas. Most people are deficient in omegas. Most people are deficient in vitamin D. And they say vitamin D really should be called a hormone. It does so many different things in the body, but it's important for the immune system everyone thinks of. But also, it's important for our joints, our structural health. We can feel pain if we're low in D. And, I talk to doctors every day, and they all say how deficient they see the vitamin D levels are when they do blood work. And then the number one mineral that most people are deficient in is magnesium. And
Mm.
magnesium has, I don't know, 3, 4, 500 different jobs in the body. And magnesium is the relaxing mineral. So it helps to relax the nervous system, relax the blood vessels. A lot of feedback on magnesium is that patients just feel less pain and tightness and stiffness when they take magnesium. So those are the foundational
Mm.
nutritional support products that most people need, that multiple. The probiotic, and we talked about the importance of that, D and magnesium. I think those are the foundational four.
Yeah, that's a
And
great list.
and then it just depends on what's going on with that person. And you mentioned GI testing. And I think everyone should do GI testing because otherwise you're guessing.
Yeah,
You can rotate through different probiotics and try to create diversity, but you don't really know unless you test.
right.
So
Right.
if everyone could do that at least once a year or two, because the microbiome does change greatly
Yep.
depending on your diet, on your stress levels. The thoughts you're thinking and the stress you have can completely change the microbiome quickly.
Yeah.
So testing, I couldn't recommend that anymore.
Yeah. That's how you know
Mm-hmm.
specifically. And this is foundational to not just joint pain and inflammation, it's foundational to everything the human body does.
All the things we suffer from in the U.S.
All of them.
cardiovascular disease,
Mhm.
autoimmune issues, and they're rampant.
Yeah.
And it stems from that chronic inflammation.
Yeah. Right. And it's not just more anti-inflammatories that we need. It's let's get to the root of the problem. And the best way to get to the root is through the gut.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you decompress your spine to nourish those discs, you're going to get an optimal response. And one thing, I have this conversation a lot because, I'm a chiropractor and I see patients every day that have back pain, neck pain, and all sorts of things like that, as well as neurological issues. But I have a story of a patient who was a former athlete, a former professional athlete. And at some point, he's like, I'm decompressing. I'm doing it regularly. But every few months, his back pain just flares up strongly. It's almost like clockwork. And I said, well, I just had to think for a second. Well, you're decompressing. That's really good. You're resting, you're training, you're exercising, you're getting adjusted. You're doing all those things. What's the one thing that he hasn't done? And we had to go back to diet. And I said, let's completely change your diet. And I just listed the top insults, the most common foods that are inflammatory. We didn't even look at gut yet, but just what is something he can do today to make a change so he doesn't have to go have surgery? Because he was at that point, like, I can't just keep doing this anymore. So we took out sugar entirely. We took out grains entirely. And we just started with those two, grains, corn, sugar, and immediately he felt a lot better. Now we're more than a year later now. It's got to be maybe a year and a half. And he has never had a severe reoccurrence of back pain like that since then.
Wow, that's so much better than surgery.
So much better. Yeah, it's huge. And it's kind of back to why you did so well so quickly, because you did it the other way around. You've been, following a healthy diet. You have, a healthy gut and all those things. And then something happens and your response, your recovery time is so quick. And so sometimes it's easy to forget that too as clinicians.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, again, what we learned in chiropractic school. I think it's the weight of a dime on a nerve can cause symptoms, can cause pain, and that is so light. So, eating sugar and kicking up the immune system and inflammation, just that little bit of weight, the size of a dime, can cause tremendous pain. So definitely things that we do every day, our diet and our lifestyle, can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Other things that I do on a daily basis, mindset is huge. So starting the day off with the right mindset, reading devotions, reading the Bible, putting God's thoughts in my mind. I love a therapy called Brain Tap. So that Brain Tap is a headset that you wear, and there's glasses, and it uses frequency and light to balance the brain and to help put you in a more relaxed parasympathetic state. So I work on mindset. Another thing that takes us down is toxins. So yes, I try to eat a clean diet. I'm not perfect, and there's toxins everywhere. As soon as we go out the door, the air that we're breathing, they're just in products we're using. So I do have a detox shake that I like to consume as well. And I have an at-home sauna. So I do infrared sauna to try to help my body eliminate those toxins. And that, I think, is really important. You mentioned how blessed I was to have the PEMF at home. So maybe for those that aren't as familiar, that's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And simply put, it's energizing your cells. And when your cells have the right energy, then they can heal. So I, in all my years of studying natural health and chiropractic, that has been the most amazing therapy. And the stories that Pete has from working with doctors just absolutely amazed me. And then I came here and got your opinion and brought home the in-home decompression bench, and pairing that with PEMF. That's the way we did it first here in the office. Interestingly, Pete was busy and he had a conference, he had machines out for rent. I didn't have a PEMF machine at home, and I did the decompression without the PEMF, and it's not as comfortable.
No.
When I got up off the bench, I really felt the difference. Just, it's wonderful to do the decompression, but it is easy, absolutely pain-free with the PEMF with it. So that's definitely my favorite way to do it.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I am so blessed to have access to. But really, it's the most simple things that make a big difference. And that we were talking about diet, what we eat, what we drink, supporting a normal circadian rhythm, waking up, getting sunlight in your eyes in the morning, making sure we're in the sun, we're in nature every day, dimming the lights when it's evening so that we can relax and get a good night's sleep, and having fun, having balance in life, having time for work, having time for play. Those are all things that don't cost anything, just our time and focus. So that's something that everybody can do, and that would make a tremendous difference. And a lot of us aren't doing that. We're so busy with work and our obligations. We're inside working. But we have to take those breaks to connect with the sun and nature and give our nervous system a chance to rest and be in that parasympathetic mode of healing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your experience. That's very powerful. And regarding the home decompression, one of the reasons why we offer to use a Resimax in there and vibration, I mean, if you have PMF, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my favorite tool ever. But the Resimax is a different device that you can use in there where it provides vibration in a targeted area.
Right.
And so that pairing of decompression with something to promote healing or desensitizing pain is very powerful. But my best recommendation for anyone who does decompression at home is 5 minutes. 5 minutes or less. Like a really short, very light decompression is all it takes. It's easy to overdo it because when you're decompressing, you want to stretch harder and longer.
You think you want to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and it's a mistake because it feels great during, but if you're taking tissues that are inflamed, irritated, and whenever you decompress the spine, you're taking those pressure receptors, you're pulling them apart so they're not compressed. It feels good. It gives you really good relief.
Right.
But at some point, they're going to have to come back together, and then you're going to go up into gravity and back into compression.
Yeah.
So you got to consider all of that.
Absolutely, because your nerves are going to feel that.
Yes. So I find that the greatest results that people get is 5-minute sessions that are very light, just 5 cycles, and they may do, more, but at least once a day or every other day is fine. I actually do 5 minutes now, like once or twice a week, just for maintenance. But
that's such a small amount of time and
a
tremendous impact.
Yeah, and I love doing that right before bed. I just do a little bit of decompression, very light, just gentle, just to get some fluid exchange into the disc to promote nourishment and preserve function. And my favorite, on top of all the supplements, magnesium, which I take every day, probiotic I take every day, fish oil from Clear Labs now is like our household favorite. My picky son, who is less and less picky now that his gut is healthier, loves them. Every day he's like, when are they coming in? When are they coming in? Like he wants those. I mean, he could eat the whole box at one time.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, loves it. But my number one favorite, and all those are top favorites that I take daily, that I don't give those away. So I'm completely in agreement. There's one other thing that's not talked about as much by hardly anybody, and I've been on those for 25 years. Those are systemic enzymes.
Yes.
Systemic enzymes, and I've taken every day for 25. I'm 46, so 25 years now. More than half my life, I've taken systemic enzymes, and I don't miss a day. Every day. And what I have seen happen with patients with those are just so powerful. Now, if you do systemic enzymes and you do everything else that we talked about, it's incredible.
When do you take your systemic enzymes?
First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, I get up and take them immediately, so that, because you've got to wait like 30 to 45 minutes to eat after,
because
or longer.
You want those enzymes dissolving the inflammation. And,
eat up scar tissue. I mean, I had open heart surgery twice. I saw my scar like fade away.
That is amazing.
In 2 months, it dissolved like 90%. This was a 6-year-old scar at the time. But even in preparation for my second surgery, I just loaded up on enzymes before, and I took a lot of them after. I can share. I'm going to do a whole separate podcast on enzymes because the story needs to be told. They are a unknown gem. And as we get older, our enzyme production, our natural production in our body declines from our late 20s onward. So in your 20s is the time to start taking them. And so,
you've just inspired me to add those. And yes, I knew that. I see doctors do recommend those systemic or proteolytic enzymes in their practice. There's just so many supplements you can take that I just didn't have the systemic enzymes in my protocol at this time, but I'm going to put it back in. Because your other advice has me feeling so great. I'm definitely going to be doing the decompression for forever. One thing that I noticed, I do go to a chiropractor, keep my alignment, but I had this dull ache in my low back that just, it was very mild, but it's gone now that I do decompression. So I know that I needed that. And I'm just so thankful I came in and you're tweaking my own regimen. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tracy, for sharing your wisdom, your experiences, and taking the time to meet with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.